In this video, we'll take a look at how to create your FreshGrade teacher account and how to get started with some of those basic settings that you'll need in order to be successful. Let's get started. Once you navigate to freshgrade.com or you get to FreshGrade's website by going through our dashboard, you'll see the screen that we have in front of you. This year things are going to be a little bit different in that FreshGrade's not tied to our Active Directory, and so what that's actually going to do is actually going to afford us a bunch of different options, some flexibility down the road. So getting started here, we actually have to create an account, which you wouldn't have had to do in the past. But again, this comes with a lot of different options that you'll have. So we're going to click Sign Up for Free. You can enter in your first name, last name. We would suggest you use your district email, so firstname.lastname@sd23.bc.ca, and then set up a password. And then you'll need to select that you've read the terms of service and the privacy policy. Once you've created your account, you'll be asked to join your school and colleagues. This is not a necessary step. If you type in your school, it should pop up in here, but you can also skip this step if you choose. For me, just for the time being, I'm going to hit Remind Me Later. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a class. And so if you're an elementary teacher, this is likely going to be a relatively easy step because you only have one class. If you are a different type of teacher, maybe middle school, high school, or a prep teacher of some sort, you may have to create multiple classes, but you need to create the first class before you can create multiple classes. So we'll walk you through this creating a class step. So hit Create a Class. Then from here, we're going to name the class. For now, I'm just going to call this, we will call it grade 2-3, because maybe I have a grade 2-3 class. Which grades do you teach? Again, remember, this is only just for the one class, so that if you were setting up multiple classes, you would just go through this step. So this is unique too, because in the past, I think you could only pick one grade. Now I can pick grade 2, and then I can pick grade 3 as well. And essentially what this is doing is just allowing you to have access to our province's curriculum if you choose to use it in FreshGrade Connect. The way the curriculum standards worked in FreshGrade Classic, they weren't really that useful because you couldn't really change them, but there's a lot more flexibility that you'll have this year, so you may find yourself using it. What subjects do you teach? You can pick as many as you want for the time being, and you can also edit this down the road. I'm just going to pick kind of the 4 core courses. So I have English language, I'm going to pick math, I'm going to pick science, and social studies. Okay, and then from here, what you're going to be able to do is, like I said, you can add standards. You can add them now, but you can also add them down the road. And so I'll just kind of show you what this looks like. So if you have some custom standards, let's say you had an entire document, you can upload them like a custom document right here. But for the time being, what I'm just going to show you is how you can go and add the ones from our redesigned curriculum. So if I click on Canada, then BC, and then it's going to match up to those 4 subjects that I picked. So if you're wondering why you're not seeing other subjects, it's directly related to this. So I'm going to pick, notice how they have English language arts, but then if we get into the next subjects, they have the corresponding French immersion ones that you can also pick. So that's nice for our French immersion teachers, but I'll go math. I will select science, and then I'll select the last one being where's my social studies? There it is. Okay, and then we'll hit next. And then from there, I just want to pause you at this screen. And so what you're going to find here is you can manually upload students, or you can upload a spreadsheet. So I'm going to create another video which shows you how you can basically download your students from MyEd and then upload them into FreshGrade. So you may argue one of the downsides of this new FreshGrade is that all your students aren't going to be in there right away with their parent contacts, but it actually is going to give us quite a bit more flexibility down the road. For those of you who have used FreshGrade before, you would have found that if you wanted to change a student's name, that was really complicated. If you had a typo in there, it was really complicated. You wanted to add like extra parents, that had some limitations there, and so hopefully this flexibility is going to be better. I'm going to guess that most elementary teachers, you may just want to lean into it and write your names in there, or copy and paste from MyEd. You know, if you are teaching more students, you're definitely going to want to take advantage of that spreadsheet. And so just a demo right now, I'm just going to go and write student A, student B, and then student C. So there's definitely many different ways that you can add students and of course their parent info, but for the time being I'm just going to go and show you what this looks like. I'm going to hit finish. And then from here, you're going to be basically ready to use FreshGrade in a kind of a minor way. But if I hit checkout class, you will see that I have my 3 students. I have my class feed. Of course, there's nothing there yet, but I can go and add posts or activities. And then I can get into assessments right here. Although one of the things that we're going to need to do next is set up your gradebook. And so that'll be in an upcoming video. All right, so hopefully that showed you a very rudimentary start of how to set up your class. Before you set up your actual class, you may want to set up a couple just kind of play classes. So you'll note that your classes will be over here. And so I have my grade 2-3 one, and so that could just be a sample class. That's another big feature. We didn't have the ability to have what we kind of call in Techland a sandbox, but now you have a sandbox where you can try things out, blow things up, and see what happens, and you don't have to worry about that, sending things to your kiddos or their parents. All right. So that concludes this first video on getting your teacher account set up and some basic initial settings. Thanks.